I'm going to say it. That's coming from Dak Prescott. I'm going to say it. I want to be here. But when you look up, all the great quarterbacks played for other teams. That's what Dak Prescott said today at a press conference. Very, very irritated looking. He did not look pleased. He did not look happy. He did not look like he was ready for football. He looked like a guy that wanted a contract, wanted to be appreciated, that was at odds with his organization. You could read it all over him. Your boy's got a psych degree, and I dabble. We dabble in psychology and fantasy football and NFL conversation. We dabble, and dabble we will. The Fantasy Football Show. Dak Prescott, emergency live stream here on the channel. We're live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern every single Monday through Friday. But we're also live when big news breaks, and big news is a breaking. File on in.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
Get lammed.
Dak Prescott not looking pleased at today's press conference. Again, let me read it back to you again in case he just came in the room. I'm going to say it. This is from Dak, quote, I'm going to say it. I want to be here. But when you look it up, all the great quarterbacks played for other teams. And then he went on to say that he's not afraid of playing for another team. He says, that's not something to fear. It may be a reality for me one day. It may not be my decision. This is wild because then Jerry Jones was on mic'd up talking about how he's a option quarterback. That's the way he identifies as. He identifies as an option quarterback. And Jerry said that he hasn't quite pitched the ball yet to the quarterback, to the wide receiver. He's all in. He said, I'm all in on 2024. And everybody, even including McCarthy, sitting there going at the press conference at the little table that they're talking at, and McCarthy's sitting there going, you can tell McCarthy doesn't agree with anything he's saying. Jerry's going, I'm all in. And everyone's going, what in the hell are you talking about all in? If you were going all in, you would have brought in Derrick Henry, who waited by the phone like a fool. Like, I'm gonna get a phone call from Jerry. Jerry didn't call him at all. If you were all in, you'd lock up CeeDee Lamb. If you were all in, you'd be building around this team. If you were all in, you'd be taking Dak Prescott's $50 million, extending him and kicking the can down the road and bringing in more talent. Instead, he's not spending a dime. He brought in old man Zeke Elliott, and he's got Rico Dowdle, one of the worst running back stables in the National Football League. The only team that has a worse running back stable is probably, I would say, the Chargers. A few other teams have some pretty bad running backs. The Chargers, at least starters. We like Vidal. Vidal's quietly sleeping on the bench. Gus Edwards had surgery this offseason, apparently. And J.K. Dobbins is the most injury-prone running back you're going to ever find in the NFL. And he's coming back from an Achilles tear. There's no shot for him. There's no running back in the history of Achilles tears. No running back has ever become a top 10 running back or returned to top 10 running back form after an Achilles tear. Nobody. The two worst running back rooms in the league are arguably the Chargers and the Cowboys. And you're all in? He says all in to me is worrying about now, trying to win now, not worrying about the future. He says one thing one moment, then the next moment he says, you don't think I'm up at night trying to get a deal done? What in the hell is it? Which one is it, Jerry? But this man's fed up with it. He's sitting there at the press conference, at the podium, saying things like, I'm going to say, he stopped himself. He goes, I'm going to say it. Like he's pissed off. He's tired of holding back. This is not a happy Dak Prescott, or I would say even a collected Dak Prescott. It kind of worries you a little bit. I told you yesterday, I feel really good and the day before about where Dak is mentally, that even though he's looking at this thing like, I don't have security here, I'm going to go make bank in the offseason and make Jerry pay and go elsewhere. And I think he's motivated. I don't know that this is going to derail his season or anything, but it's not good to see your quarterback walk up to the podium and go, I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to say it. I want to be here, but when you look up all the great quarterbacks played for other teams, and you can't fear it. This is not a cohesive unit here in Dallas. At some point, someone's got to speak up. McCarthy probably doesn't have the balls because he'll get fired. Someone's got to speak up and say, what in the hell are you doing? You've got your number one star player, CeeDee Lamb, not signed and getting more expensive every day. You've got Dak Prescott, the only option you have. There's no going and getting a better quarterback. I hate to break it to you people, but there's no quarterback you're going to be able to get that's better than Dak Prescott. The other 5 quarterbacks, 6 quarterbacks, 7 quarterbacks all have reservations with their teams to play football. No one's available. You can't find a top 5 quarterback just meandering around looking for a team. That's not how it works. That's why Goff got a big fat contract. That's why Stafford got upgraded. That's why Kyler Murray's got a big fat deal. He didn't yet earn when he got it, but he's been doing better. Kyler Murray's been doing a lot. And on top of that, you've got this situation where he gets MHJ. He's got Benson. Cardinals are on the rise. I'll tell you that right now. One of the best stacks in football.
The stack above all stacks.
Look at that. Kyler,
it's
Harrison.
Time to drop the pancake emoji.
Connor Benson.
Chat.
McBride. Drop a 4 pancake emoji line if you're on board the Kyler train, and drop a double wad if you're a Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase kind of person. So drop your pancakes accordingly. But this is crazy. This was wild to see Dak Prescott doing his press conference, watching Jerry Jones speak. I think it was like on a podcast or doing some sort of just interview. But Jerry was absolutely out of his mind. And then he started giving these weird analogies and references to being a option quarterback. And he kept saying, and they went to him, NFL Live was trying to break it down, and they looked at it, and they're like, what in the hell is he doing? What is he even saying? I don't even know what his analogy means. I like to think of myself as an option quarterback who hasn't quite thrown the football yet. I'm looking to pitch it, but I don't see anybody to pitch it to yet. Where's my football? Here. Where's my football? I don't know where my football. There it is. I like to think of myself. Maybe I took it out of the room. I thought I found it. I like to think of myself as an option quarterback. And I see CeeDee Lamb and I see Dak Prescott. I kind of want to pitch it to him, but I'm just going to hold on to it because I'm a great decision maker. It's unbelievable. I don't know what to say at this point. I really don't know how to predict this situation. Does it unfold badly? Is there some negativity that arises from all this? Does Dak play badly? Does he play out of his mind? Does CeeDee Lamb play badly? Does CeeDee Lamb play out of his mind? Does CeeDee Lamb eventually report? What's going on with that? CeeDee Lamb is holding out. So when Jerry said today, we're all systems go, we're all in. How are you all in when your star wide receiver isn't even on the field? What in the hell are we talking about? How are you all in? You don't have your star wide receiver on the field. You got Brandon Cooks. You got nobody. This is Ferguson, and this is Lamb's team. Ferguson, Lamb, and you got some role players. That's it. You have half of your arsenal not on the field. The other half is talking shit at the podium about getting the hell out of Dodge. And you're all in, Jerry? This is the biggest bunch of garbage I've ever seen. And if I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, I'm ashamed of my owner. I'm ashamed of how things are being run. I'm absolutely embarrassed about what's going on. frankly. And the fact that he thinks he's playing some awesome game, like he's such a veteran in the game, like I've been doing this a while, I like to think of myself as an option quarterback. I'm all in right now, and my star wide receiver is not showing up. He's holding out, and he's getting fined $40,000 per day, which he's going to refuse to pay, and you're going to waive those fees, Jerry. I promise you, you're going to waive those fees. Unless you're so out of it, you think you can walk in to the season without CeeDee Lamb. And if you do, then you're not all in. You can't be all in. You have no clue what all in means. And somehow he sits up there with a smirk like he's confident, like I've been in this game a while. I'm a veteran here. I know what I'm doing. I know how to navigate these waters. Dak Prescott is thinking, I think I want to leave. I think I want to go somewhere where I don't have to worry about a guy that can't build a team around me. Dak takes so much heat from everybody. Everyone says it's Dak's fault. Here's the bracket from last year. It's Dak's fault. They lose to the Green Bay Packers. Very embarrassing, right? No, it wasn't. If you know football, if you know what you're talking about, you know that this guy can't do it himself the entire season. CeeDee Lamb is a part of, he's an extension of Dak. If Dak can't get it done, if he gets clobbered, if he doesn't have room to throw the football in time, he can't get it to Lamb. He's doing a job all by himself. And what does this owner do? Doesn't do anything about the running back position. Don't tell me you're all in. If you're all in, why does your team look like a skeleton crew and your star player's not on the field? It's embarrassing.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
It's embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. Dial into the show if you guys want to have a conversation on this topic, but this is hopefully going to get resolved at some point. What I end up picturing in my mind, and I can't promise you that this is how it's going to go, but what I picture in my mind is Jerry Jones eventually coming to the realization that he cannot do this without CeeDee Lamb. He cannot do this without Dak Prescott. And at the end of the day, it's going to get done. It's just going to be a big waste of our time. It's going to be a big stressor on Dak and the offense. It's going to potentially put CeeDee Lamb in a little bit of an injury risk territory if he doesn't get back ASAP. Every day that Lamb is out from this moment forward is a minute amount that adds up of injury risk that gets piled onto his situation. That's just the way it is. Nate, are you okay? Are you choking? What's all that noise in the background?
What noise? No, I'm
okay.
good.
Well, Nate, you're the only one on the phone, so it is coming from you. But, Nate, what can I do for you?
Oh,
as you fumble around with the phone? What can I do for you, Nate?
Nah, I just wanted to basically say that these quarterbacks are going to get paid. So I think, regardless, people need to just relax. Obviously Jerry Jones, he's going to give Dak his money. Who else are they going to get unless they find another Brock Purdy?
I don't know. What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say? Relax?
No, not you. I'm just saying in general.
But why would people want to relax though? We're talking about a team trying to get it all together, trying to jive, trying to get this well-oiled machine heading successfully on track, in line, on time into the stadium in week 1. Of course we're going to freak out. This is a time to not relax. This is a time to rant and rave because you don't have time. You don't have the ability, the luxury. The Cowboys are a skeleton crew as it is. There's no running back stable. There's no good wide receiver depth. You've got Fergie, you've got Lamb, you've got Dak, and some very minute role players. You don't have the luxury of walking into the stadium on week 1 without practice, without getting things jiving together. You have very little to work with. This is the last thing I'm going to do is tell someone to relax. What in the hell are you talking about, Nate? Nate, we don't agree on anything is what I'm starting to come to the determination of.
No, I think that they got a couple of weeks. All right, he's going to get paid no matter what. It's going to happen. Also, the Cowboys they're not going to win a Super Bowl. They got a little time. I think he's just waiting to see. I don't know what he's waiting for, but
what's he waiting
I don't think that they're gonna win anyway. So
okay,
good with the
good story, Nate.
Same with the Packers. Like, the Packers are going to pay Jordan Love.
Well, that we know that, but this situation is different than Green Bay.
Freaking over that?
Because this situation is different than that. The Packers, they know they want Jordan Love. They're actively trying to get a deal done with Jordan Love. And Dak is obviously flustered. Nate, you might want to go. Nate, go watch the press conference and come back after, Nate. I'm not going to have a discussion with you about how this is not a big deal. Dak's at the podium talking about playing for other teams. What in the hell are you talking about, Nate? No one's saying that this can't get done or for sure won't get done. But there's obviously a problem here. And there's a wrench in the gears. And that wrench right now that's holding this thing in motion from moving forward and functioning is Jerry Jones's decision making. And to act like this is not something to panic about, to act like this is the same thing as Jordan Love, you got two pieces here that need to be paid, one of which, CeeDee Lamb, isn't showing up. And the other one's at a podium saying, you know what? You know what? He looks around, he pauses. He knows whenever you say, I'm just going to say it, after a big pause, you're saying something to take a stab and a shot at the person that you're talking about. And so Dak today said, I'm just going to say it. I want to be here. But when you look it up, all the great quarterbacks played for other teams. This is not the same thing as Jordan Love. Absolutely different, bro. It's not even close. Not to mention the Green Bay Packers are set up a lot more well-rounded for the season. Let me go over to Travis Rowe, then over to Marsman Rockout, then over to Scuba Steve. Travis Rowe, what is up? You're live.
Hey, so we've said over and over, be careful what you wish for, with all these Cowboys fans that want Dak gone. And, you know, and I still say if Dak goes, there's a decent chance CeeDee Lamb doesn't want to sign long-term unless he sees for sure QB's coming in.
Yeah.
I know these guys will sign, and JJ signed anyway, but, you know, it's still up in the air. And, I mean, maybe the Cowboys will have a shot at Shadur Sanders if they keep going like they're going. You know, it's just insane that you let it get to this point, not just with quarterback, but with a receiver, with a top 5 receiver too. Like we're just talking about with Chase, you don't let guys like that get like overly disgruntled. You don't push it to the limit with them. You just pay them the market value, because you're going to have to pay them that anyway. It's only going to go up.
It's wild.
So they're doing nothing but kicking the can down the road for no reason.
It's wild.
Nothing can benefit them.
The only bad thing for CeeDee Lamb is that, you know, if he could get tagged next year, you know. So it's not like it's not like he can just say, you know what, I'm going to come in, play for his $14 million is what he's getting paid, and I'm going to make so much money in the offseason, I'll be fine. He probably will. And even if he wanted out, and even if the Cowboys said, you know, we don't want to pay him necessarily, or we kind of do want to pay him now, but now he's mad and doesn't want to come back. Let's just say he doesn't get an extension. He comes back in and he plays, right? He could get tagged. There's no guarantee he gets out of this situation. Dak Prescott is a different case because he has a no franchise tag clause. He has a no trade clause. I'm sure he would okay a trade to any team that was willing to pay him, to an extent. Any team willing to pay him what he's deserving of in his mind, he would say, waive the trade clause, send me to the Raiders. You know, like the Raiders right. Come to mind as the most likely team to pull off some crazy head-scratching before week 1 trade. I'm not saying it's likely. It's probably a 5% chance of actually happening, but there are many things that have unfolded like this unexpectedly where we're like, holy crap, I didn't see that coming. Nobody saw Tyreek Hill getting traded. These things happen, you know, and there's obviously some disgruntled feelings that Dak has right now that are different than before. He's obviously speaking out differently than he has before. He's got a big, you know, disappointing, stressed out, drained, I'm not really in it right now type of look and expression and vibe going on right now. I really believe he is probably at the point where, look, if somebody called up and said, hey, like, I'm not saying he's going to request a trade necessarily, But that kind of stuff can happen. You know, we think we know how he's feeling. The guy that went up to the podium today looked like a guy that would entertain that and say, you know what, let me go talk to some teams and see if they'll pay me. The one thing people need to understand about trade requests is when you request a trade, and I told you Ayuk was going to request a trade. Everyone said, no, he's not, Smitty. You're going to be so dumb later. Watch. The reason you request a trade is when the team that you're with does not want to pay you the amount of money you want. So what do? You don't wait and play your last year. You don't play on your 5th-year option like Ayuk is going to end up having to do without first saying, okay, if you won't pay me, can I go ask other teams if they'll pay me? Can I request a trade? Will you grant me permission to go talk to other teams, get my worth, and then we'll come back and there'll be an offer and I'll find out what's up. I'm just saying Dak Prescott has a no trade clause, but he could say, let me go talk to Pierce and see if I can head over and play with Devontae Adams and Brock Bowers and Zeus White. It's something that I would explore. If you don't want to be there and they're not paying you, why would you not request a trade? It sounds wild, but then you think of it this way. Like a Dallas Cowboy fan's going to go, come on, Smitty. And again, I'm telling you up front, this is like a 5% chance of something like this unfolding. But why would you not do it if you're Dak and if you're Jerry and you don't see the value in Dak Prescott enough to give him a long-term deal? Why would you be so close-minded to trade him away? So clearly, Jerry's got some down deep desire to not have Dak back. Therefore, a trade idea makes sense to explore. And Dak's not getting what he wants and looks like he doesn't necessarily want to be there. I want to be back here, but does he really? We hear that. He's going to say that. We don't even know how much of that's true, because you're always going to say that for your fan base, for the fact that you're there. You don't want to necessarily say, I don't want to be here. Like, I don't want to be here. You're going to say, I want to be here, but it's just something that could potentially, I think, at least be kicked around rumor-wise and then maybe get shot down or have some sort of 5% existence of potentially, coming about and being kicked around as a real thing. Go ahead real quick, Travis.
Real quick is with that. Yeah, in terms of like, I know they can definitely tag CeeDee Lamb and all that, but what that does is it just sets a bad precedent. And if you look at the teams that, build winners and are competitive for years on end, right now you got veterans and guys, free agents want to go to San Francisco and Philly, and veterans want to go play on the veteran minimum, San Francisco and Philly. And in the past it was, the Patriots or the Steelers, and you're not going to build that culture in Dallas if you're doing that. If guys are going to go, well, they're not going to pay me the money I'm owed, guys aren't going to want to sign up for that culture. And it's not going to be, prime for them to win for a long amount of time.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make any sense at all for them.
Yeah, I agree.
Put
Okay, let me go over to Rockout real quick. And Sam Dunn dropping a $2 hauler. Appreciate you, Sam, dropping a $2 hauler. Keon Coleman season. No one is higher on Keon Coleman than this channel. I can guarantee you that.
Mashed potatoes!
Can guarantee you that. Hold on, Rockout. Let me put this caller on hold. Hey, 716 caller. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Mike, and I'm calling from Buffalo, but a big Dallas Cowboys fan all my life.
Okay, Mike, put yourself on mute real quick. Yeah. You got a lot of background noise. From Buffalo,
okay, but
Cowboy fan. Okay. All right, hang tight.
Sir.
Hang tight. Put yourself on mute. Thank
Okay.
you. Rock out. You're live.
Hello?
Hey, hold on. Mike, when I say put yourself on mute, I mean really actually do it. Thank you. Okay, go ahead, rock out.
Yeah, I think he has like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I think he ultimately wants to be there, but if they're not going to pay him, he's fine leaving. And if he has a good year, he's going to make him bleed to pay him out.
Yeah, it's going to be wild, bro. It's going to be wild. I just don't know. I just don't know how this is going to end, because Jerry's capable of being that guy that he wakes up on the other side of the bed and all of a sudden says, let's get it done. Bring Dak in. Let's bring him home.
Yeah.
You know, he'd be like, okay, all right, Jerry. You know, it's like everyone's around the boardroom. I think of it like a bunch of suits walking around talking mad shiat about Jerry. And then when Jerry walks in, Jerry's like, let's go ahead. There's a vending machine out there. I don't like the color. Okay, it's orange. It stands out weird. I want the vending machine gone. I want the one that has the sticky buns. Somebody bring back the vending machine with the stick. Yes, Jerry, we'll get on that. Okay, Jerry, we should talk about Dak. Dak. He walks out of the room and they're probably going, oh, what do we do about Dak? They're just waiting for the day Jerry rolls out of bed on the other side, comes in and goes, let's get a deal done with Dak. And then the whole team's like, great idea, Jerry.
Come on, Jerry.
Let's get a deal done. This is happening. This is what's going on there. It's absolute chaos, utter chaos over in Dallas. They don't know what in the hell they're doing. It's not everybody, but it's at the top down, and Jerry's the one pulling the strings. There's nothing anybody could do about it. You saw McCarthy's face in the press conference. He looked like he was dumbfounded. He looked like he was a prisoner, you know, like giving some signals that he's in trouble and he needs help. It was wild. It was wild watching it. It was wild watching a man that's running one of the biggest football teams in the National Football League, one of the biggest sports in history, and one of the most successful teams and one of the most revered teams, the Dallas Cowboys, whether people want to hate them or not, America's team, whatever. We got a buffoon running this thing. He doesn't know what in the hell he's doing anymore. Hang tight, Rock Out. Let me go over to Mike and then Scuba Steve. Go ahead, Mike. Mike from Buffalo, but a Dallas Cowboy fan, which has got to be weird. Go ahead.
No, Smitty, so let me tell you let me give you 30 seconds of my background. I'm 53 years old. Lived here in Buffalo all my life. So in the 80s growing up, of course, the Bills never had a good team.
Mike, no offense. Please don't take us the wrong way. It's your first time call, but no one cares. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Hit me with the Dallas Cowboys stuff. What are you thinking is going on here?
So what I think is going on is a rotten shame, and that guy's got a great point. You know, it's a little bit too late now. If if the Jones family would have hit these contracts running a year ago, Dak Prescott's probably sitting at about $50 million. CD's probably 100%. Sitting at around $1 million. Micah, if you hit Micah a year ago, $30 million. You know, it's too late. You cannot look. We know Dak's track record. Dak's a good regular season quarterback. He's been doing this since 2016. He does not win in the playoffs. I, as a Cowboy fan, cannot justify seeing that my Dallas Cowboy quarterback getting more than 54 mil.
Mike, you couldn't be more right on the front part of this conversation. This is the same thing with Brandon Ayuk. It's the same thing with Jamar Chase. It's the same thing with all these guys that want to get paid. There's a natural instinct for teams to be like, no. But what they don't understand is this is an uncontrollable, you can't slow the momentum down type of train, money train, that only grows. There's no recession. I don't know what they think is going to happen. This isn't the housing market. It's only going up market. Stock is on the rise for everybody in the NFL, and it will always continue to rise. And that's the wildest part about why you would wait on signing anybody. It is moronic. And I 100% agree with you, Mike. I think that at this point, though, Jerry is absolutely screwed the pooch. I don't know what he's planning on doing, and I wish I could say I had a good read on him, but I think he's going wildly crazy because there's no way to logically explain what he's doing. And I think in that could mean that tomorrow he signs Dak Prescott. So we don't really have a good feel. You know, unfortunately, we're sitting there waiting for how's the wind blowing? What's his mood look like? And he's sitting there saying that I'm the football. I'm an option quarterback, and I'm going to pitch it maybe to Dak. I don't know yet. Maybe to Lamb. I don't know. Maybe I'll hold on to it. Hold on to my money is basically what he's saying. Maybe I'll pitch it to him. I haven't decided yet. It was the craziest analogy. Like, everybody's been, like, baffled by it. They're like, did this guy really just call himself an option quarterback? Mike just hung up on himself. Mike, that was a good first call. And might I also say, Mike stood up on business. I told them no one cares about your backstory. We're in a breaking news show. And Mike bounced back like that, had a good take, and he was completely right.
Let's go, mashed potatoes!
Appreciate it. Scuba Steve, you're live.
Hey, Smitty. I just wanted to say, man, with this Dallas Cowboys stuff, to me, it doesn't really surprise me. I mean, this is Jerry Jones that we're talking about. I mean, he walks the way that he wants to walk and how he wants to basically create the team. We've been seeing it for so many years that how this is going down, and with all this Dak news, man, I don't even know if he wants to bring him back. He's already compared. Jerry Jones, you're bringing up that interview. He's comparing himself to like Patrick Mahomes. I feel like this is just a guy that, I mean, he's there. He just doesn't. He's out of touch, and he needs to step back a little bit. But I feel like he's hurting the Cowboys themselves more than Cowboys fans want him to. I mean, they've had great drafts. He's put it together like great talent, but it's just always like he's always got to be in the center of attention when it comes to the team. And I just feel like that window that they once had, it just gets ruined as soon as this guy just comes in there and just keeps doing what he wants to do.
It is crazy. I would love to know if there's any Dallas Cowboy fan in here, and you can certainly call in. But if you're in the chat, you can't call in. Is there a single Dallas Cowboy fan that is actually on the side of Jerry Jones? I would be so wildly impressed. And just, I don't know, not impressed. I'd be wildly in awe of your thinking if you think that this is being handled even remotely in a good way. Hang tight here. I'll come back to you in 1 second, pal. Let me read this super chat from Falcon, who dropped a $10 holler. I appreciate you, Falcon, dropping the wad. He says, my 6th season playing fantasy football. This has been the only channel I've gotten my info from in 5 years. I've been 3rd place, 2nd place, and placed, and I've had 2 championships so far. Smitty, you're the man. Thank you, Black Falcon. I appreciate you.
To the moon.
To the moon. To the moon. Let's go, mashed potato. Thanks for dropping the 10 wad. Thank you for being here, Black Falcon. To the moon. Ron Navy, you're live.
This isn't Ron Navy. This is Jerry Jones, and I'm the biggest Jerry Jones fan of them all.
Are you Patrick Mahomes or are you Jerry Jones? Because today he said he's Patrick Mahomes.
Jerry Jones. I'm my own biggest fan. You said you wanted somebody to call in.
Yeah.
That was a Jerry Jones fan. I'm my biggest own fan.
To Scuba's credit, he did actually, and I didn't even mention this, he did compare himself not only to a quarterback with the option play, he said he was comparing himself to like Patrick Mahomes. I like Patrick Mahomes out there. And like, I don't know if I'm going to pitch it. I'm going to pitch it right. I'm going to pitch it left. I got Lamb to the right. I got Dak to the left. Maybe I won't pitch it. Maybe I'll take it all the way into the season and not sign and extend either one of these guys. Why? This is what he said. This is basically his press conference. Why would I not pitch the football over to Jerry or over to Lamb? Because I'm all in. I'm all in. Jerry, Lamb's not here. That's okay. We're still all in. We've got Cook. Is Cook still on the roster? Does he currently concussed? No. We got Brandon Cooks. We'll be fine. Dak will be fine. Dak will throw the football. We'll throw the football, run. Dowdle. We'll even need Dowdle. But we'll be okay. Zeke Elliott's in his prime, and the Dallas Cowboys are going to win a championship because we're all in. That's Jerry Jones. Jerry's an absolute... He doesn't know where he is. He's in bizarro world right now. We just got to get him back to say yes to a contract. He's kind of like Bernie Sanders, or not Bernie, Weekend at Bernie's. They're just propping him up.
Turn to Al Davis.
It's wild. Jerry Jones is yeah. Rockout, did you have anything else you wanted to say? Because I kind of cut you off quickly.
Yeah, I think with Dak, and if they don't have him, they'll basically be in shambles. Even though he's a bad playoff quarterback, they'll be missing a huge hole.
Yeah, and I don't even know that I would define him. I don't think it's fair to say he's not a good playoff quarterback because of all the reasons I've said before over and over and over about this is last year's playoff bracket. We don't say those same things about, well, some people do. The hater, like Niner fans will say this about Josh Allen, and Niner fans will say this about Lamar, et cetera. Take fandom out of it.
Yeah,
you don't hear people saying, oh, Josh Allen might need to be replaced. We can't really win the big game. Oh, Lamar Jackson, Maybe we replace. What do you think? Maybe we replace Lamar, right? Because he didn't win last year. He hasn't won yet. So I hate to break it to anybody, but only one team wins. You know, ask the Niners. They continue to get there and they don't win. It's like they're still doing better than everybody else, getting to the championship, getting it to the Super Bowl. They constantly have a good team, but just because you don't fully execute on winning a championship, it doesn't mean it's always the quarterback's fault, and you can't go just replacing pieces and expecting this thing to jump right back to where it was and then take that step forward. Like to imagining you take Dak out of the equation, just like you took Kirk Cousins out of Minnesota, and you're trying to shove JJM back in there, it's not going to have the same response. You can't take Dak Prescott out of Dallas, shove in a rookie quarterback, and have Lamb and everybody in sync, the same amount of yards, the same kind of offense, the same everything. It's not going to happen. There's no scenario I can even envision where a quarterback is going to become available or be traded for, or they get the one pick. The team that gets the one pick is going to be the worst team in the league, and they're going to need a quarterback. More than likely, it's going to be the Raiders or the Giants or another team that desperately needs a QB. I don't see any scenario unless somebody gets injured. Like, knock on wood, one of these starters goes down. I don't even want to say any of the names, but let's just say one of them goes down, then maybe that team's in the mix. But you still have 2-3 quarterbacks that everybody's going to be chasing, and the Dallas Cowboys are probably going to have a pretty solid record, even if they fall very, very short. There's just no scenario where you're probably not getting Shedeur Sanders. Do you really think any other quarterback is going to be better than Dak Prescott? If you do, I've got a bridge to sell you. Like, Dak is a good quarterback. He just needs support. He needs and he doesn't have it this year. Like, if he goes out and craps the bed in the first round of the playoffs, or the team misses the playoffs even, everyone's going to blame Dak. I'm not going to blame Dak. Dak has less support this year than he had last year. Our only hope is that Ferguson goes absolutely crazy, Lamb goes absolutely crazy, and Zeke Elliott and Dowdle are efficient enough that they keep defenses honest enough that this thing can look similar to what it looked like last year. There's no way I think this team can win a Super Bowl without a Derrick Henry, without a Barkley. Had they added Barkley or Derrick Henry, I think we'd be talking a little differently. I think we'd be saying this is a team that could, not going to, not for sure, but could be a top 3 or 4 team in the NFC if they had Derrick Henry. That's a big piece, man. You look at the Ravens right now and you say to yourself, this is a dangerous team. And if you take Henry off of it, I don't think we feel that way. I think we feel like, hey, Lamar can beat you any game, but is Lamar going to win consecutive games throughout the entirety of the playoffs? Is he going to win 1, 2, 3, 4 games in a row by himself? The answer is no. That's why Josh Allen keeps losing. That's why Lamar keeps losing. That's why Philly has kept losing and hurts. This team brought in Barkley. This team brought in Derrick Henry. Buffalo didn't, but they still figure out how to become competitive, but maybe they're at a disadvantage not having that run game unless Cook steps up and becomes this baller. A lot of people do like Cook. KC continues to evolve. They adapt to everything. They're like a chameleon. They just, no matter what, they just adapt and reshape, and they're the favorite to me in the AFC, no doubt about it. Now, can they get knocked off? Sure. Could injury strike? Yeah. But this team's better this year than they were last year. Mahomes is off all year long. Imagine once he gets everything firing on all cylinders. I feel like he looks electric. I think Mahomes is going to throw for 5,000 yards and have 50 total touchdowns. It's going to be a wild bounce back for Mahomes. And everybody that's doubting Mahomes is going to come back and go, I don't really know why I thought Mahomes wasn't going to bounce back. Why did I think that, Smitty? And I'm going to say I don't know, because the whole season I've been telling you he's one of the top 4 picks, actually one of the top 2 best picks in fantasy football, period, is Patrick Mahomes. 3rd round non-best ball, 4th and 5th round best ball. There really is no better value than Patrick Mahomes in 3, 4, 5 across those formats. There just isn't. He can be the number one overall scorer like he was 2 years ago, 1 year prior to the season that just concluded. In 2022, he was the number one overall quarterback, the number one overall fantasy football player, period. And then he had a bad year. He's absolutely getting discounted, and it doesn't even make sense. And every time you turn on the TV or look at Twitter, you're seeing a deep ball, and you're going, wow, another one to Holly. Whoa, that's not Hollywood. That's Rashee Rice. And then the next day, another deep pass. That must be Rashee. Oh, that's not Rashee Rice. That's Worthy. It's like they keep rotating. We have no clue who the number one wide receiver is in KC. 1 minute we think it's Hollywood. The next minute we think it's Rice again. Okay, but how many games does he miss? Then Worthy's catching footballs. This team is going to be unreal. It's going to be unreal. Scuba, did you have anything else?
Yeah, I did. We're talking about owners saying dumb things. How about Mike Brown? Because I know you brought up Jamar Chase getting needs a deal. This guy's saying that he wants to get everything going in the offseason.
Yeah.
Dude,
yeah, Scuba, you gotta watch. You gotta watch more shows. We have a whole show on this. But yes, to your point, Brown came in and said doing contracts is better in the off season, not the in season. And we came in and said, "What in the hell are you doing, Brown? What are you doing? You just exited the off season. You had the entire off season to get Jamar Chase signed." And so he said he believes that the die has been cast and Jamar Chase's contract will probably be addressed next year. So guess what? They're going to pay through the roof. And Chase is going to be unhappy. I don't know if he pulls some sort of like, okay, I thought maybe playing nice would get me my deal. Now I'm going to do something drastic. I don't know. So Jamar Chase is very much in flux too, but keep in mind that he's in a different position than CeeDee Lamb because he's in his 4th year. He hasn't even hit his 5th year. So Chase, technically speaking, needs to wait 1 more year to get where CeeDee Lamb is, where he's in his 5th year option. And you know what I mean? So it's tough. But the only thing that's bad about what Brown's done is that Brown has set a precedent that they're open to, getting this deal done so they can save money. And so now they're pulling it back. So it's not like they've been hardline stance. We're not dealing with negotiations until a 5th year option. Sorry, that's the way we operate. They were trying to get a deal done. And so then now they back out. It's wild, man. Chase is going to cost so much more next year. This will cost them at least $10 to $15 million more in salary. And this will cost them at least $10 million more in guaranteed money. But it is a little bit different situation. The reason Chase is there is because Chase is on his 4th year. Lamb's not showing up because he wants his deal. He's at the year where this happens. This is nearly guaranteed you get extended in your 5th year on your 5th year option walking into that final year. It's near guaranteed if you're a top 5 wide receiver because the team wants you and they don't want to pay more the next year and the market's exploding. So regardless of him being in his 4th year or not, it is a grave mistake to wait on signing Jamar Chase. They will be paying for it next year. Anything else there, Scuba?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I didn't know you were going to go back.
No, it's no problem. I just let you know.
No. I was just gonna say, man. I'm with you too with Kyler Murray. I think he's gonna have a good season, man.
Yeah, buddy.
I'm definitely gonna try scooping him up, and definitely see. I like that offense too, man. So I'm gonna try to hop in.
Scuba. I think I know why we call you. I think I remember why we call you Scuba Steve. It sounds like you're in a scuba tank. It sounds like you're in an aquarium or something right now. We could barely hear you, but it does very much sound like you're underwater. Where are you at?
Oh, sorry. No, I was just out, man. That's why. It's having tough here, man. I was at the house for a while.
Are you getting some grub? What are you eating?
Yeah, I'm just at Taco Bell. I'm just getting a drink.
I love it. Okay. Look at Scuba. Scuba's a man of the people. Scuba Steve to the moon.
To the moon.
All right, Scuba, hang tight if you can. Stay on hold. Let me go back over to Ron Navy, see if he's got anything else. Then back to Travis. Go ahead, Ron.
Speaking of food, I posted to you what I ate earlier.
You already eat an early supper for Ron. Let me guess, steak of some sort. Now, and Ron's got 3 steaks. What are we doing? Why do you need 3 steaks? What are we doing with 3 steaks?
They're filet mignon.
Ron.
One for the puppy.
Yeah. Well, okay, so...
Hey, I do care about Mike's background. I mean, you know, if you're from Buffalo, it kind of makes sense to be a Dallas fan because at least Dallas has won a Super Bowl and not lost 4 straight.
Yeah, probably.
That's like sacrilege.
Probably.
Probably can't go in public.
Did anyone see the picture Kamara posted? There's something going on with that. I forgot what it was. You mean which one?
Miller's already hurt too.
Who's hurt? Kendra Miller. Yeah. Kendra Miller banged up. There's a lot of news on Twitter right now. There's a lot of dime passes being thrown, a lot of dime verbiage being thrown around, you know, where people are like, look at this dime by every quarterback. I will admit that when you see the quarterback you want to look good throw a pass, it looks amazing. And then when somebody else talks about a guy and you think, okay, that pass wasn't that great, it doesn't look as amazing. But yeah, Fields, we're going to cover that.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I should just swing into the 8 p.m. show at this point. It's 40 minutes away. I think I'm going to close out and come back. So we'll hit all that news on the flip side of this hour. And I'll have all 3 of you call back. We'll be talking about Fields.
I can't. I'm going to be getting a massage at that period of time,
well,
I'll be absent.
That's all right.
I wanted to talk about it, but all right.
Look at Ron.
You guys have fun with
all
it.
All right, Ron. Yeah, call in if you can.
Later.
All right, see you guys. I'll see you in a bit. All right, there it is. Dak Prescott. Will he get a new deal? Will he request a trade and say, I'll waive my trade clause, get me out of here? I mean, I don't know. Anything's possible, but the demeanor he had was crazy down. You know, he was down bad. We'll have to see what happens. I'll see you all in about 50 minutes on this channel right here as we come back. Live at 8 p.m. Eastern, Monday through Friday, so about 40 minutes from now.